you looking for a therapist, I recommend always asking the following questions when you reach out to them via email or phone call. One, if you're looking for a neurodiversity affirmative therapist, ask them that. Make sure that they know their shit, that they have training in the struggle. They just don't list on their Psychology Today 30 different issues that they are specialized in. I always think less is more. Like, don't be the Applebee's of therapy, so to speak. We can't do it all well, so that's important. Ask about social justice activism and how they're going to ensure that they can create a safe space for members of the BIPOC and LGBTQ community, especially if that's your identity. Make sure you ask that question on the phone because it's your treatment. You don't want to, show up and ultimately have someone who judges you, makes you feel unsafe, and that doesn't feel useful. Number 3, make sure to talk about what's worked before and what hasn't. I think that's always really important. I always ask people, have you been to therapy before? What's worked? What hasn't worked? I want to get a sense of that because ultimately we can use different interventions and techniques, but at the end of the day, it's about your experience and your process. So it's really important to know that you do have the ability to ask these questions. And I know that some of you may feel like you don't. Maybe you live in an area where there's just not a lot of therapists. Maybe you only have 1 or 2 options, but I know it's really hard to sometimes advocate for ourselves in these spaces, but provider choice is really